Hello and welcome to round 15 of the 2020 Formula Virtual World Championship here from Mexico City in Mexico. My name is Brady Downton and I'm joined today by Lily Westwood.
What?
And down in the pit lane, Robert Mathershaw.
Good afternoon.
Today then the drivers will tackle 71 laps of this famous circuit, the highest on the Formula Virtual calendar above sea level, and it was Enrique Ruiz, the winner last year, to set himself up very handily into Brazil to take the 2019 championship. Can Nathaniel Powers do that today, or will his rivals pull him back? This is how it stands then. Powers can win the title if he wins the race, with Ruiz 8th or lower and Van Snelheid 4th or lower. It's as simple as that. If Powers doesn't win, we go to Brazil. Between the three of them, Nathaniel Powers, Enrique Ruiz and Klaas Van Snelheid, then they are our title challengers. The Constructors' Championship, there is a far greater chance that that will be wrapped up today. Downton will be the champions for the second year in a row if the Mathershaw do not outscore them by 2 or more points. Let's take a look through the grid then and see how they line up. And Downton have put themselves in a brilliant position to secure that championship. It's Nathaniel Powers on pole position. Teammate Klaas Van Snelheid lines up alongside an outlier in the top 4. He is on the medium tyres, the rest are on the softs. Enrique Ruiz and Adrian Simon form row 2. The Brazilian once again ahead of his veteran teammate. On row 3 we've got Will Hoskins and Felix Perez, the two firsts, back together on the third row, having been demoted last time out in Italy. The team will be hoping they don't come together once again. Elroy Wagner, a stunning qualifying performance for Lopez, puts him 7th on the grid and best of the rest, just ahead of Jean Matson by 0.02 of a second. They were separated on row 4. Thierry Zylander and Marcus Thunder round out the top 10 for Phoenix and Lucas respectively, both looking for further points finishes to try and aid their championship positions. Sergio Alvarez makes up the head of row 6. He's in the second Phoenix car. They're looking to gain points on Westwood. James Vazquez is in 12th. Johan Helson lines up 13th, just ahead of Hunter Ryan, the Oslo man, the highest for his team on the grid. Row 8 is Carl Beckenbauer, the highest. Westwood disappointed with qualifying. The team just didn't quite work out where it went wrong, but it did somewhere. They've got their rivals ahead of them. Gabriele Garcia, though, lines up alongside. Carson Davenport couldn't match his teammate in qualifying and was stunned as to why. He lines up 17th, just ahead of Timo Kinnaman. Completing the top 20, the second Westwood of Puccio Giordano, beaten by Carl Beckenbauer for one of very few times this season. Alar Kanga completes the top 20, a long way behind his teammate. 21st, Nikolai Milkovic. He leads Dominicas Viranas in the second of the Ocelots on row 11. Just behind them in 23rd, we've got Enzo Dominicali in the lead of the Franklin cars. It was disastrous qualifying for the former champions and the race winners here last year. But he's just ahead of Gianni Ledesma, who once again made qualifying at the expense of Lewis Ellington. Yukumi Takahashi lines up 25th, while after a bad session, Nick Addison starts from the back. So as we go down to the grid then, it's Nathaniel Powers in pole position. Teammate Klaas Van Snelheid lines up alongside him on the front row. The lights go out now, we're racing to Mexico. It's a lightning start from Ruiz in third place then, who's already up alongside and ahead of Klaas Van Snelheid then, challenging Nathaniel Powers, who cuts him off though. Powers pulls across to the inside line. He's got Ruiz absolutely right behind him, already up into second place. Klaas Van Snelheid got a dismal start then from the front row, but goes back around the outside of Ruiz and back into second place, or does he? Ruiz is coming back at him, the two of them wheel to wheel, and it is Ruiz who takes it then, but Powers is using that to escape up into the distance.
Yeah, that was good teamwork there from the Franklin, the Downton boys, where Ruiz was actually not able to get that toe because Klaas Van Snelheid slightly behind. Oh, as Wagner gets up the inside there, gets right up close to personal with Felix Perez, and gets actually passed by Matson. Oh, he was already passed by Matson, okay.
Yeah, it looks as though Wagner was trying to come back at him a little bit there, up from his brilliant starting position of 7th. I think Wagner trying to have another go here then at Jean Matson. Top 6 already breaking away. Thunder up to 9th.
Yeah, fantastic start. Couple of notable performances in the midfield. Obviously, Thunder getting up a couple of. Wait, that's 2 places. No, only up 1. Beckenbauer getting past Ryan on the start. I think that's
Kanga's made up 2 spots from 20th.
Well. Yes, he has.
It's a good start there from the Estonian. Yeah, as we go on board with Felix Perez through the stadium section. the fans will literally all be cheering for Perez being the home hero here, you'd imagine.
Yes, because they're Mexican and so is he.
Yep, as he gets a brilliant slipstream there on Will Hoskins, then his teammate on the run down into turn 1. Hoskins defends the inside line. Surely Perez will be able to use this to sweep around the outside. But no, Hoskins drifts over to the middle of the track, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that these fighting this one this hard, to be honest. As we see, we've got Kinnaman and Kanga, we've got Giordano and Domenicali.
Yeah, that's
some cracking racing.
I think that's Kanga's gained another place there, but Kinnaman was trying to come back and couldn't make it work. As Zylander's in the pits at the end of the opening lap then. What was this? This is a replay on board with the Belgian, and I think he's run into the back of, yeah, he has, into the back of Elroy Wagner at turn 1, just didn't quite leave himself enough room.
No, that's hugely disappointing off the back of a really good qualifying from Thierry Zylander there.
Yeah, I think he was 9th on the grid, wasn't he?
He was indeed.
But yeah, and I tell you what, that is a huge blow to Phoenix's hopes of trying to take 7th in the constructors as well. They had a brilliant chance starting 9th and 11th with Westwood and Ocelot reasonably down the order, but Zylander seems as though he might have blown that on the opening lap.
Indeed, I think the pressure might just got to him there, and he's dropped the ball a bit, and now the pressure lies on Alvarez, unless an early pit stop doesn't make too much of an impact on the Belgians' race. We will see, though.
Yeah, I'd be. I mean, it's going to take a really strange occurrence for it not to, isn't it? As meanwhile, the top. Oh no, that's the top 4. Sorry, isn't it? The top 4 have really broken away from the 2 first, although that might be because they keep going side by side as Perez goes past Hoskins then for fair.
So that would have been exactly the move he's looking to make, as Kanga is still defending from Kinnaman. Oh no, he's got past Kinnaman.
Yeah, so he'd got past already, so it is Kinnaman trying to come back at Alok Kanga then, but let's not forget, Kanga is on the hard tyre and I think Kinnaman is on the extra soft. So they are absolutely worlds apart.
And meanwhile, I can't help but feel like Domenicali and Giordano kind of look fast enough to be in front of this pair.
Yeah, they almost certainly do. They'll be very, very keen to find a way past, but obviously Kinnaman on those extra softs isn't going to be the easiest of prey.
No, obviously he's one of the most experienced guys in the sport. He knows he knows pretty much all the tricks in the book, and he's not going to be surrendering any good positions anytime soon.
No, he absolutely won't. Speaking of extra softs, we see Felix Perez then, now having cleared his teammate. He is another driver. I think, actually, they're the only 2 on the... Yeah, they are, Perez and Kinnaman. The only 2 drivers on the extra soft compound. And he will now be hoping to use that to close up onto the back of the top 4.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, we have 2 on the extra softs. We have 1 on the hards, and everyone else
3 on the
softs.
hard.
So medium says, oh, that's Marcus Thunder going around the outside. No, nothing doing there as Wagner slams the door in his face.
Yeah, good defence there from Wagner, if a little aggressive. But yeah, we've got 3 drivers on the hard tyres, Kanga, Ledesma and Nikolai Milkovic.
So basically, nobody inside the top 15.
Yeah, pretty much.
Woof. As these 4 are still running line astern then. Doesn't look like, it looks like some people are just biding their time. Obviously Kinnaman's going to have to get those tyres off eventually, and that will release Domenicali and Giordano to have a go at the Lopez of Kanga.
Yeah, certainly will. I'm just wondering, Rob, in the down in the pit lane, did you see any additional damage to Zylander's car when he came in?
No, I think front wing change was all that was really needed there. The suspension looked pretty straight. He's relatively happy with that.
Brilliant, thank you. Just intrigued by that one because he doesn't seem to be gaining a whole lot of time where he is at the moment.
No, I think that on his strategy at the moment, he
might have to cut across you here, Rob, because Marcus Thunder has got a fantastic run here on Elroy Wagner. He's up the inside into turn 1. He's well past for the braking zone. Can the Lopez driver come back? No, he can't, and that Marcus Thunder parking it nicely on the apex there, taking the position. Meanwhile, Vasquez defends from Alvarez. He's looking a bit racy here today. Sorry, back to you, Rob.
Yeah, no, back to me. Okay, yeah. So Zylander is just slowly but surely making back some time. In fact, he's even managed to make a little bit of time on Daniel Powers on the soft tyre in that last lap. He's just easing in. He's obviously changed to a new set of medium tyres. They might take a little bit of time to heat up today, like 26 degrees temperature. So yeah, no, I think it's not the ideal start, but I don't think it will be I think he might just be able to go on a single stop more than everybody else.
Well, Phoenix will certainly be hoping so. Thanks for that, Rob, as we go on board with Adrian Simon then, in 4th position, currently following Klaas van Snelheid and his teammate. Let's not forget the 3 of the top 4 are on the soft tyres, but that Downton sat in the middle of Klaas van Snelheid is actually on the medium tyre compound. So doing a good job here to stick with Ruiz and hold Simon back.
Yeah, definitely. Simon obviously was 4/10 off his teammate qualifying, so we switched to the aforementioned Klaas van Snelheid. Oh, that's a nice word, aforementioned.
It was.
But yeah, he's doing a surprisingly... Oh, here we go then.
Yeah,
Kinnaman looks to be coming back at Kanga.
Yeah, Timo Kinnaman then trying to get the move done on those extra soft tyres, and I think he might have this one. Down the inside into turn 1, he was already clear into the braking zone.
Clear and dry, easy as you like. That's just a nice uniform move there from the Finn.
I know tyres have just played a rather significant difference, but let's be fair, at any point this season did we really expect to see a Chima overtaking the winner of the Japanese V-Prix?
No, I mean, if we're going to be honest, Kinnaman's maybe, Kinnaman's, what, where did he finish in that race? 13th? 12th?
I don't know, it wasn't particularly high, but I think that just goes to show how badly Lopez's season has really fallen apart.
It's not been wonderful.
Mind you, Wagner is 9th.
Yeah, but he's looking more like he's going to go backwards than forwards. That said, someone who is going forwards, as I segue myself into a new talking point, Thunder has closed up to the back of Matson, almost, and is trying to pile the pressure on the Frenchman.
Yeah, he's about a second and a half back, isn't he, from the England driver? But I think he is on a softer compounded tyre. Yeah, Marcus Thunder's on the softs compared to Matson on the mediums then. However, Wagner's on the softs as well, so that was a genuine overtake for Marcus Thunder on Elroy Wagner.
I've got to say, that Lucas, in the hands of Marcus Thunder recently, has looked quite impressive.
It certainly has.
Where did they qualify last time out? Like 11th, and they scored 2 points?
Yeah, so Thunder was 11th on the grid in Monza, and finished 8th actually, I think it was, for 4 points.
8th?
Yeah, and then qualifying inside the top 10 here, so we'll be hoping to pick up a few more, I'm sure, although it does seem as though they may have already secured 10th, and I don't think they're really going to get any higher in the Constructors' Championship. Phoenix are probably too far ahead.
Yeah, I think maybe just a little bit, unless Lucas start winning races, which, they did do that at the end of 2014, before their departure from the sport. But, yeah, I mean, because they're another... We see this a lot with kind of the lower midfield teams. Obviously, we've got Westwood,
that's Matson on the back of Hoskins.
Has something happened to Hoskins? Or has he just
I was just going to say, yeah, I think that Will Hoskins might have an issue here then, because he's been absolutely left for dead by Felix Perez and Jean Matson. Both of them are on the medium tyres, and Matson has caught him already.
That's really strange. I just wonder if maybe those medium tyres aren't switching on. Oh, Kinnaman is gone. And here goes Domenicali up the inside then, off Alar Kanga. Kanga's got nothing to fight back with.
Yeah, those hard tyres aren't working, are they?
No, so while the medium tyres might have some trouble switching on, those hard tyres are dead in the water. They just look like may as well have bricks on the car.
Who else have we got? Milkovic and Ledesma. Where are they last? Bars Islander.
Yeah. So I think that tells us everything we need to know. But I feel like Kanga can only expect to go backwards. Here we go, a nice shot of Ledesma. Obviously did another fantastic job to make it through into Q2 again. But let's be honest, they're just gathering data really in these sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think, I think for Meteor it's a bonus having a car in the race because, well, let's be fair, if 16 of the other cars retire, they've scored a point. So, you've got to be in it to win it. But, yeah,
we
I don't
a race
think
like Malaysia 2018.
Well, exactly, but I don't think they really expect to be anywhere on pace.
Certainly not. Sorry, I was just enjoying a... Wait, you couldn't hear me drinking that, could you?
Nope, we just heard the as that's Matson looking down the inside of Will Hoskins.
Yeah, he
then.
is.
And
On the same tyres.
yeah, Hoskins has lost another second compared to his teammate on the last lap. And yes, okay, Felix Perez is on the extra soft.
Have you got any reports of? Sorry, I'll let you finish your point, and then I'll.
I was just going to say, yes, Perez is on the extra soft tyres, but that's a lot of time that Hoskins is losing. I'm just wondering, has Rob got any news from the first garage?
Gap between Hoskins and Perez. I would look more at the gap between Hoskins and Matson as an indicative of any issues. But yeah, sorry, we'll throw it down to Rob now. Rob, give us some info if you have it.
Yeah, that gap between Hoskins and Matson, I don't think it's kind of fixed yet. I think maybe as they come past, it's getting gradually closer visually as well. I think Hoskins' car coming past, the engine doesn't seem to sound quite as crisp as that of Felix Perez. So I don't know whether the 4 power plant's got a slight issue there, but I'll see what I can gather information-wise from the team. Obviously, they're going to be quite guarded with what's going on because they don't want to really give away their hand at this early in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that, Rob. Obviously, several teams do suffer reliability issues here where we're so high up. The air is quite thin that this track is notorious for issues with cooling on the cars. So hopefully, that 4 power unit can kind of find a second lease of life. But yeah, for now, it looks like Hoskins is definitely on the back foot.
Yeah, it certainly does as Matson tries to put pressure on him again into turn 1, but nothing doing there. And it's not just going to be the Frenchman he's going to have to worry about in a minute, because Thunder, Wagner, Vasquez are all closing this pair down.
Yeah, Thunder's within a second now, so as we go and watch... Oh, Powers not really pulled away since we last checked in on these boys.
No, he hasn't. The gap's about, as I say, it was about 1.5, only up to 2 seconds now, so yeah. It's what I'm most impressed with at the moment is Fast Van Schnellheid keeping pace with these guys.
Yeah, but then if we look through the field, I'm kind of not, barring Perez and Hoskins. Oh wait, Perez and the extras, not the actual softs. I'm not seeing a massive pace differential between the softs and the mediums.
No, that's true. Who else do we have? So Thunder's on the softs, Davenport's on the mediums, but they're so far apart. I don't think you could mind. It is only 5 seconds, to be fair, the gap between them.
Yeah. The midfield is quite deceptive like that. Obviously, while it's a lot of positions, it's so tight that it's actually not a lot of time at all.
Well, yeah,
there's more time between 1st and 5th than there is between, what, 8th and 20th? No, that's 16th, 17th. Like,
well, yeah, we were discussing before the race. There was a bigger gap between Powers and Klaas on the front row than there was between the 2 Lopez teammates, Wagner in 7th and Kanga in 20th.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just so tight down at like the lower reaches of the points, as I think we'll expect to see Felix Perez in the pits at the end of this lap.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. It's actually, that is a huge surprise that Kinnaman is pitted first, when normally we've seen the front running teams use their tyres slightly harder.
Yeah, I think this is probably the exception to the rule, purely because Perez has had clear air except for one quick scrap with his teammate, whereas Kinnaman spent a good half of the stint battling away with Kanga before he was able to get away. That
is a very, very fair point. And mind you, Perez's clear air hasn't done him an awful lot of good, has it?
No. I mean, that's going to put him back out in. So Kinnaman was about a couple of seconds ahead of Kanga, so I think we're looking at about a 20-second, maybe 19-second. Oh, as we've got Perez in the pits, we'll throw it down to Rob, if Rob can also tell us a pit delta. Go on, do stuff.
Yeah, so Perez in there, really good stop actually from the boys down the first garage. I think you're right, I think it's about 20 seconds. Interestingly, for the soft-tyred runners, if they can go between 14 and 18 laps, they're looking at a 4-stop to the compared to the extra soft runners that are looking at a 6-stop strategy here. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes for them. I think that Van Schnellheid probably now looking at a 3-stop even. So with the temperature.
Oh, sorry to cut across you, Rob. There's contact between Alar Kanga and that is Enzo Domenicali. And I was just about to say, as that comment ended, that it hadn't worked out for Felix Perez. It might have been a quick stop for first, but not as quick as they were hoping for, because he'd come out behind Kanga, Domenicali and Takahashi. But that incident has just absolutely given him a free pass.
Absolutely. So here we go then. Kanga has just outranked himself, and then with Domenicali reversing off the track, we saw Giordano have to stomp on the brakes there, causing him to lose a position to Takahashi. And all of that has allowed Perez to get away with getting out in traffic. That's unbelievable.
That opened up absolutely beautifully for the Mexican.
Now.
Yeah.
Well, 8 seconds.
Yeah, he's got a lovely bit of clear air now to try and pump some fast lap times in. So we'll keep an eye on Perez to see what he can do with that. As his teammates still coming under pressure now.
Yeah, from more cars now. This is not good.
Yeah, he's now a 5-car train for 5th place then. Hoskins hasn't been able to shake Matson off, and the rest of them have closed up as well. Even Wagner.
Halverson has pushed Alvarez outside of the points. Oh, they're battling right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're scrapping. We can see it on the timing screen, but we're on board with Vasquez at the moment.
Yeah.
As Timo Kinnaman puts in the fastest lap.
When was the last time Timo Kinnaman set a fastest lap? Would it have
last
been
year,
Westwood,
someone I'd
or would it have
imagine.
been Franklin, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got 10 seconds up to his teammate, so he's nearly made up 1 pit stop. But I think we still got Rob. I hope so. How many stops are the extra soft tyres looking at making today?
I think that at the moment they're pretty much consigned to it. I think it's going to be a 6 stop with a shorter final stint. But yeah, we're relatively close now to the cut-off that I'd say that a 4 stop will be possible for the soft tyre runners. So if they can just keep going for another couple of laps, so it's a difficult one to call.
In fact, yeah, haven't they just crossed the threshold that you set for them earlier?
Yeah, it's borderline, but they could well have it here. And obviously, if that's the case, then Perez needs to make up 2 pit stops on the faster tyre. Then I really don't hold up much hope here for his home race.
Looking a bit sketchy for the extra soft tyre runners in these hot temperatures.
Absolutely is, but he does bang in that fastest lap. But I think, thinking back to here last year, I believe the soft tyre runners did a 4 stop, but I think the mediums got away with a 2. So
yes, the medium tyres were definitely the tyre to be on last season.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether that replicates here today.
So I might have it wrong, but I did think we had like a couple of degrees higher last season.
Yeah, I think it was slightly different. I can't remember in which direction, but yeah, we'll have to see how it affects things.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the fun of watching the racing, seeing how the environmental aspect shapes the racing. I don't know.
One thing I think we can say is that I don't think there's going to be any rain.
I don't know, I can see... No, there's no clouds. That was just a smudge on my screen.
Yeah, I know there was some in the forecast earlier in the week, but yeah, that has absolutely not come to fruition.
These 4 still have not really moved, although C1 is dropping back a little bit, but that might just be because of the toe down the straight.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that was just Class leaving his braking really late into turn 1.
Yeah, which is surprising, seeing as though Class is on harder tyres than the boys around him.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if the softs are just starting to get to the end of their life now, so these guys are just struggling a little bit, meaning Class has the grip advantage.
Yeah, quite possibly. It's definitely looking quite good for Class though. If he's looking at making 1 or 2 stops less than the guys around him, it's kind of the second stint is really going to shape the entire race.
Yeah, it certainly is. We'll keep an eye on that one once Powers, Ruiz and Simon dive into the pits as we go back to the battle for 5th then. Will Hoskins leading Matson, Thunder, Wagner and Vasquez. The 5 of them still nose to tail, but nothing really doing between them. Hoskins very much a cork in the bottle at the moment, and that I don't think is something we expected to say in the midfield fight.
Absolutely not. Obviously, there's been a bit of a shake-up recently at first, which we'll kind of touch on in a moment.
I'll touch on it now.
Yeah. So obviously, it was publicised not long after Monza that First Motorsport First Robotics had pulled out of First Motorsport, but it was recently announced that Palmetto Racing have bought their way into the Formula Virtual team.
Yeah, so the consortium group, led by 3 individuals whose names I cannot remember.
Same. We're professionals.
Have formed the Palmetto Racing Group and have brought into the 50% of First Motorsport.
Oh, hang on. We've got
formally...
Alvarez up the inside of Halverson for 10th place. Alvarez then moves himself up.
Yeah,
Sorry
good
to
move.
crush you, but that is huge for the constructors and for the 7th place.
Yeah, absolutely is. I did think it odd that Halverson wasn't really gaining much time on the guys in front, but that'd be why then. Because he's been battling with Sergio Alvarez, as I think Rob is going to save us down in the pit lane.
Yeah, so the Palmetto Racing Group involves a couple of guys that actually have been really kind of notorious in World Motorsport over
Jack
the years.
Dubois.
Jack Dubois, who's he's previously been part of the American prototype team, so he's been a team owner over there as well as.
Oh, sorry, Rob. Can we just get you to call something else because Ruiz and Powers are in the pits.
Oh gosh, they are.
Yeah.
I wasn't even looking. I was looking at my cat.
Yeah, they're now out of the pits, so that's good.
Yeah, it looked like a reasonably clean stop for the pair of them.
Yeah, so that should be a pretty nailed-on strategy for them there, so that's not too bad for them.
I'll tell you what, that's not worked out particularly well though. Nathaniel Powers is fed out just behind Elroy Wagner in this little gaggle fighting for what was 5th place.
Yeah, I mean, while Wagner will be pitting, you know, I think Vasquez, Matson, and Hoskins.
Oh, we've got a car in the wall then at the final corner. That's Felix Perez. The home favourite is out here in Mexico, and that is at. I mean, is it still the Peraltada?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, that's at the Peraltada then.
Giordano looking up the inside. Giordano up the inside then. That's Nick Addison then, and he has a bit of wall banging on the apex, but he gets the place and chases after. That's going to be Marcus Thunder, who's made his way through that pack quite nicely, actually.
Yeah, so Thunder's pitted as well then, hasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking. Yeah, did the right brain not work?
As
Big silly. Takahashi's out as well.
Yeah, so I'm assuming there's been as Adrian Simon dives into the pits, then 1 lap later than his teammate and Powers, who's now got past Elroy Wagner then. So he's already cleared 1 and is up into 7th, but unfortunately that's the one that's going to pit.
That doesn't help him.
Oh, no, one of the Ingrams dives in.
As well. Oh, wait, I thought Vasquez was. No, of course he was on the soft. It was, yeah, I'm silly.
No, that's alright. I thought
so
Vasquez was on the mediums as well, so.
That overcut has not done Ruiz, nope, Simon any favours.
No, it hasn't
As
particularly, has it?
Find Alvarez. Alvarez is in quite a fun position right now.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Adrian Simon then immediately sweeps back past and up into 6th place. James Vasquez, meanwhile, has come out behind Puccio Giordano and some way behind Marcus Thunder. So he was right on the back of the British driver, but has lost some 4 seconds pitting 1 lap later there.
Yeah,
this is the replay on board with Perez then. So Perez, he took too much curb around the first part, tried to save it, and then ended up in the wall.
Yeah.
So how did Takahashi get involved?
Takahashi,
Oh no! No, that's terrible from Felix Perez then.
I think he might have just felt the pressure of being his. Oh, and that's how Giordano made his way past then, because he. That's a horrible accident, but I think Perez, I don't know what he's thinking, reversing it. It's a blind corner. Like, it sucks to lose positions, especially at home V-Prix, but you do just have to take the pain. And unfortunately, he took more than he bargained for.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big shame for Felix Perez then. That's now I think his 3rd no score in 3 races.
Yeah, he's not having a good time with it. Oh, his Powers makes a nice tidy move there on John Matson.
Yeah, nicely done, up into 3rd. No, it's not been brilliant of late for the first boys, but I tell you what, they'll be grateful, I think, if anything, that it comes now now that they've sealed 3rd in the constructors, rather than earlier in the season when it was all a bit up in the air.
Lose it. But yeah, I think they were kind of always nailed on for 3rd, barring the kind of poor luck that we've seen from the likes of Coca-Cola team Porsche Matthew, but.
So close.
No, it's Matthew Porsche, isn't it?
Coca-Cola Porsche team Matthew.
No, I thought it was Matthew Porsche.
But
don't laugh at me. Your car's a ginger.
Lovely. As Powers goes straight past Will Hoskins as well then, so determined not to sit around for this one. Nathaniel Powers got himself straight back up into 2nd. We'll now have to wait and see how quick Enrico Ruiz can get through this pair.
I can't imagine you'd have too much difficulty, but there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, well, we will see. Matson, I think he's I think he's defending, but I'm sure Ruiz will just sweep both past already. Never mind. Is he going to do Hoskins in the same straight? No, not quite. Brakes late, but just too far back from Will. But yeah, so we were talking about first, weren't we?
Yeah. Oh, wait, Halverson and Alvarez. Halverson makes his way past the Argentines. We've got a yellow flag in the final sector. Garcia's dropping down the order.
Is he?
He was.
I thought he was that far down the order anyway.
Anyway, yes, so Alvarez being relegated. Now that's a really interesting little scrap because you've got Alvarez, Beckenbauer and Ryan, Phoenix, Westwood and Ocelot respectively, all in a battle for 7th going into the final 2 rounds, all fighting for the bottom point scoring positions. Every point is crucial down in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely is. There's only, am I right in thinking, 8 points covering the 3 teams?
I believe you're correct, yeah.
So yeah.
I think we had someone that could go and fact check that, Rob.
I'm on it. I know I'm not Rob, but I'm on it.
Your name's not...
Yeah, it's 8 points. I was already looking, that's why I said it. Yeah, it is just the 8 points between them then.
There's a front wing there, by the way, at the final corner that's just been left there. So
yeah, that's fine. Wow, look at the straight line speed.
Ooh.
That's
Hoskins
insane.
there. Obviously, Hoskins and Ruiz teammates back in 2014, where Hoskins was cruelly denied his title, as Matson.
I was going to say
denies Adrian Simon.
Yeah, Simon was pretty much past there already, but Matson outbraked him into turn 1, and Simon, who's very much been put in the shade as we've mentioned this season, can't quite get the move done on Matson, and he's going to now see his teammate disappear up the road.
As Kinnaman disappears into the pits there, so I assume that's his bit of front wing on that line on the track. Hopefully get a replay of what happened, but yeah, day goes from bad to worse for Tumo.
Absolutely. As right, back to first, because we never really finished that conversation. As we said,
didn't finish that.
The the 50% of First Motorsport was owned by First Robotics, been brought out by the Palmetto Group, who Rob can name the 3 men who form that up.
I certainly can. We've got Jacques Dubois, the American sports car racing magnate and car dealership owner throughout the southeast United States. We have Greg Smith. I mean, that's wood, it's wood. Dubois is wood. Greg Smith, who has worked in stock car racing for the last 20 years, and he's been technical director of some of the top teams in the sport.
We've got Simon going around the outside of Matson, down in the braking zone into turn 1. Sorry,
he's already through.
We've
got straight line speed for days. And then the final member of that group is actually probably going to be quite interesting for a lot of the fans at this circuit.
Alvarez taking place back. He's a back up into 7th here, so Alvarez and Halverson not able to separate themselves from each other. Halverson not the pace we expected from North Star.
And he's gone again.
Sorry, right.
Finally, we have the somebody who's probably actually of note and of interest to all fans here in Mexico City. We've got Jorge Gonzalez, who is he works in electromechanical equipment and hydropower or hydraulic power.
But he takes some place on the Canada.
Yeah, well, and then hey, I know you have a job to do, but I have mine, and I have the airwaves.
This is Rob time, goddammit, and you will shut your mouth.
And most importantly for all motorsport fans, Jorge Gonzalez is a very accomplished amateur racing driver. He's raced in sports car races such as the Dubai 24 Hour and the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring. So 3 guys that really do have their head screwed on when it comes to motorsport.
Yeah, they definitely know what they're talking about. There's banging wheels there on the straight. Causes Simon to actually back out of that, and he's not going to go for it, I don't think. No, Hoskins covers him off nicely.
Yeah, Hoskins fends off Adrian Simon there for 4th place. But yeah, it's a really interesting consortium that have formed together the Palmetto Group, brought into First Motorsport, and we don't know yet how that's going to change the team name or the team identity going forward. We're expecting to find out later this month, is what we were told. But what we do know is that is likely to bring significantly greater funding to the team than First Robotics were able to provide, which could give them that that last little boost they need to really become a proper championship contender.
Yeah, honestly, because they have been pushing forward, but First Robotics were very public in the fact that they weren't financially able or willing to contribute the amount that First Motorsport needed to move forward. Because obviously, to win in Formula Virtual, it's not cheap. You know, it's an expensive sport. So you can understand their position completely, but a dedicated racing group with, as Rob says, 3 guys with their heads screwed on who know what they're talking about when it comes to racing. I think this could be a new era for the team, as Simon.
Yeah, talking about what they know with their heads screwed on, knowing their way around racing. Adrian Simon is he lined that one up far better, didn't he?
Oh yeah, that was a lot better, and I think he knew that Hoskins wasn't going to try kind of banging wheels with him again. Because you know you can act like a silly goose, but only for so long. But yeah, takes that place finally.
I'll tell you what it has done.
5 seconds to his teammate.
Yeah, it's allowed Hoskins to break away a little bit from Jean Matson though. He's got about a 2-second buffer now back to the Frenchman.
That's quite handy for him, to be fair, especially on a race where he's, you know, we think he's a little down on power. Obviously, the Soul remaining first.
I'll tell you what though, if there's any race that you want to be down, well, I mean you never want to be down on power, but if there's any race where it's not going to be as bad, it's got to be here in Mexico.
Well, I don't know, you got that long straight.
Yeah, but everyone's down on power.
I suppose that's true actually, yeah, because it's thin air, isn't it?
So yeah, Hoskins, there's definitely something that seems to be costing him time, but we're not entirely sure what. Just looking slightly further down the field, Marcus Thunder then is currently 12th in a beautiful bit of clear air before he's still got 6 seconds before he catches his teammate. And the guys that were right behind him, James Vasquez, Elroy Wagner, have got stuck behind Enzo Dominicali and are now some 7 seconds behind.
That's really impressive from Thunder. Obviously, he did use the incident to clear the pack, but in terms of Vasquez and Wagner, they have really shot themselves in the foot here. Oh, Alvarez covers off Halverson there into turn 1. Great defending there from the Argentine.
Yeah, it feels like these two have been at it for the entire 25 laps.
Yeah, neither of them want to overcommit, because obviously you've got the likes of Beckenbauer, Ryan, Davenport, all kind of waiting to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, absolutely, but I'm surprised at the seeming lack of pace from the North Star this weekend. It's shown this at a few tracks, hasn't it? It's been a really good car throughout the season, but sometimes we'll just turn up to a weekend and it just kind of doesn't turn on.
Yeah, obviously, was it Belgium? I think they really struggled in.
No, it was. I know they really struggled in Canada.
And they
most
also, which
one.
was odd for them. They also weren't fantastic at Bahrain, so the car does clearly require some maybe slightly more specific circumstances to perform well, but they're going to be really kind of, I don't know, I feel like they're still fairly safe in 4th.
Oh yeah, I think they're pretty much
6th,
guaranteed 4th. There's 26 points back to Ingram.
Yeah, so barring a miracle, I don't think Ingram can do anything, but you know, it won't be nice to see, and they're going to have a lot of questions to answer going into the off-season here.
Yeah, they certainly will, as they obviously look to build and improve on this car for next year with the introduction of Brock Kidd in place of Gabriele Garcia.
Yes, promising chappie from Indy Virtual.
Yes, very much so, as we go on board with Carson Davenport, who we might as well speak about this, haven't we? We found out at the last race that Davenport would be leaving Lucas at the end of the season. He's off to Meteor on a season-long loan, and that set a number of questions around the paddock as to who would take his seat at Lucas, because I mean, not even Marcus Thunder's had been announced at that point, but it has been confirmed between Italy and here that Thunder will remain at the team, leading that charge next season, and will be joined by a rookie in Maximilian Thunstrom. who it's a very close name. It's going to be really confusing, those two next year. I hope they've got wildly different helmets, because that's going to be the only thing we can use to tell them apart. But yeah, Thunderstrom currently leading the VWRS Championship with 1 round to go.
Yes, with some tight oh, as Halverson's made his way back past Alvarez. Yeah, obviously it's pretty tight up at the top of VWRS then. I think it's the top 3 drivers are all confirmed to have been promoted into Formula Virtual next season anyway. With Matteo Zattici a close 4th with some impressive practice sessions this season.
Yeah, and Mayer as well in 5th is going to be...
Of course, yes, Mayer is also being promoted into... I can't remember where.
AMR.
Ah, yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so 4 of the top 5.
Alongside Finn Schneider.
Absolutely. As Klaas van Snelheid pits then. Klaas van Snelheid dives into the pits at the end of lap 27. I think, Rob, that's a 2-stopper, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that's going to be really crucial there for Van Snelheid, because the pace looked good, and if he's going to be able to pull back what we think is going to be about 40 seconds, that could be looking bang on for a good result here. Similar for Hoskins, even if he has to deal with this engine issue.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so Klaas van Snelheid. The gap between him and Powers was down to about 7 seconds before he pitted, but well, Powers, Roos and Simon will need to take an awful lot more time out of Klaas van Snelheid then, if they're going to overcome this. Then, as it looks like the Dutchman will only make 2 stops. He's rejoined only 15 seconds off the lead of the race, as some of the midfield runners also head back out onto the track. Will Hoskins back out into 7th.
I was just going to say, it's quite interesting that Beckenbauer has carried on. He's trying the overcar, hoping that his rivals get dropped back in traffic. That's kind of what's happened. Garcia overtakes his teammate.
Wow.
Got a bit out of shape on the exit of turn 3 there, but that's surely going to cost both Halverson and Alvarez a little bit of time, as Halverson looks to come back past his teammate now, around the outside of turn 4. Garcia covers him off. Obviously there's no way past the stadium. Well, this is the stadium section, but expected to, whatever. That's
kind of a stadium section, isn't it? Just not the stadium section.
it's stadium section uno.
Yeah.
As we've got the 2 Ingrams approaching stadium section dos. Obviously, in the past, you would go straight on here into the rather quick corner name.
Go on, you know it. Peraltada.
Peraltada, that's it. As Beckenbauer makes his stop.
I mean, to be fair, they could go straight on now. It's just not going to go particularly well, because I'm fairly sure there's a wall there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to sting a little bit, as we've got that's Vasquez up the inside. No, it's Matson up the inside of
Vasquez. Yeah, Matson goes past James Vasquez then. Obviously, he's just come out of the pit, so he is on some fresh medium tyres compared to Vasquez's now reasonably worn softs, as we've got cars swarming all over the road.
Beckenbauer goes defensive into turn 1, but he's jumped the pair of them. He's got past Halverson and Alvarez. That overcut from Westwood has worked.
Yeah, it has. Absolutely beautifully then. Halverson, I think, held up ever so slightly by his teammate, although Garcia is on the soft tyre. But yeah, Alvarez and Halverson scrapping away. Beckenbauer going a lap longer, used the clear air and a bit of extra pace, and he's got himself up into 11th.
Yeah, fantastic job there from the German, who, let's face it, so far this season has been kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, you could say that. As
so Giordano has scored, what, nearly 30 of the team's points?
Yeah.
In fact, he's probably scored more than 30.
I think it is more. Hasn't Beckenbauer's only scored like 5, hasn't he?
I think he scored 4, Bradley.
Is it even that bad? No, it is 5. It is 5. Giordano's got 38. Okay, right.
So it's a pretty close team battle, but it's
well, you know, a win for Wagner would put him only 8 behind.
Westwood versus Lopez. Wagner goes defensive to the inside. Surely Beckenbauer is going to have the superior drive on the outside.
Well, yeah, especially given Kanga is on some now rather tired, hard. But mind you, he's fighting this one. Alar Kanga's not determined not to let 10th go, isn't he? And he does indeed fend off Carl Beckenbauer. I think Kanga's realised this is probably his only opportunity to run in the points this race.
Quite possibly, yeah. It's definitely not a fight for position, but Kanga is definitely treating it
Mind
as
you,
such.
they do both have
He
one
might
stop
be-
to go.
I
Just
suppose
saying.
so, yeah. Also, I do wonder if he's maybe also trying to act as a rear gunner for Wagner. Try and give his teammate the best shot possible at retaining some points in this race. I just realised Marcus Thunder is running up in 5th, and he's just vibing. I know he's
He
got
absolutely
another 3 stops to make, but he's doing really well today.
Yeah, he certainly is. Thunder obviously using that new contract, and it's giving him a...
Oh, Beckenbauer, sorry, into the stadium section around the outside. With Alaa Kanga there, that was phenomenal stuff.
I missed that one.
A classic dummy.
Oh, I'm
When
really
was the last time we
devastated
saw an
now.
overtake? Oh yeah, it was such a good overtake. When was the last time we saw a pass into that section? I'll throw it out to Rob. Rob, did you see that? I just want people to. I want to talk about that. That was great. Alvarez is looking to make his way past.
I must admit, I saw nothing.
Oh my god. The only one that saw it, and it was so good as Garcia continues to hold up his teammate.
Yeah, Alvarez bullies his way past Alaa Kanga.
He did a bit. It's a little bit rude on his way through, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he decided he wasn't going to let Beckenbauer disappear off into the distance. Mind you, Beckenbauer has already built like a 2.5 advantage in one sector. That's how slow Kanga is at the moment.
Kanga is really struggling, and he's almost on his way to a 1-stop, and we're pretty sure he's going to make one.
Yeah, but he's got no pace in the process.
He's obviously going to make a stop. But yeah, this hard tyre gamble, not as successful as it was 6 months ago.
I'll tell you what though, the fresh medium tyres are rapid at the moment. Will Hoskins closing in on Marcus Thunder. Klaas van Snelheid has got the gap between himself and the lead and Nathaniel Powers down to under 12 seconds. This medium tyre strategy looks as though it is going to work absolutely beautifully.
Definitely does look like the strategy to have. Yeah, obviously it was strong last season, and we're seeing the exact same thing again this year. With the kind of, I don't know what I was going to say, Bradley. I don't know what I was going to say.
I mean, that's a common occurrence, isn't it?
How slow Alaa Kanga is going as he now fights Garcia.
Is he going to get a North Star either side of him? Oh, no, he's going to get Halverson into the back, though.
He's contact.
Yeah, Johan Halverson misjudges his braking point ever so slightly and tags the back of Kanga, but they both seem to have gotten away with it.
Yeah, no loss of front wing there for Halverson, and luckily no spin round for Kanga. We've got Power. No.
Yeah, it is Powers.
Yeah,
Powers and Ruiz, then the two leaders in for their second stops.
God, I can't believe we're almost halfway through this V-Prix already.
Yeah, it's certainly gone pretty quick, hasn't it? As they're surely going to comfortably rejoin in 3rd and 4th.
I don't know, Bradley. I don't know. They do get quite close to that wall on the exit, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Skirt past it a little bit. As Thunder, is from his 5th position, which we all expected.
Yeah, I'll tell you what could save Marcus Thunder here, though, is the fact that he seems to keep finding himself little pockets of clear air. And I think he might just about do it again.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he doesn't beat this train out of the pits.
Well, that's exactly what I'm just wondering. We'll have to keep an eye on it. He's not quite done Beckenbauer. Well, I don't know, or Alvarez actually. Never mind. There's only the two cars.
Oh wait, no, he hasn't. Sorry, I was looking at someone else. Yeah, he's only stuck behind Alvarez and Beckenbauer, so he's made up almost 1 stop on them. He does have to make up another pit stop on them, obviously.
Yes,
he's got what, 2 more to make, and they got 1. But as that's Halverson sweeping past Alaa Kanga, I believe.
Probably, yeah. He was the next driver in the queue, wasn't he? They're just lining up now to get past Kanga. Even Davenport's going to have a crack.
Davenport's going around the outside, but there's no room.
I'll tell you what, that might have left him open to attack from Hunter Ryan, but the Aussie can't quite make anything of that one. As who's? Oh, it's Simon, isn't it? Yep.
He did pit on that later last time out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It just looked far away. It looked like an arrow for a brief moment in the shadows, and I thought Takahashi's out.
Your eyes checked. But I will say though, obviously, Halverson has now leaked 5.5 seconds to Beckenbauer and 3.5 seconds to Alvarez. He might have just put himself out of contention for a good finish there as Wagner pits. I'm sure we should be expecting Vasquez in soon. down to Rob.
Yeah, we should.
Are they trying to extend, maybe?
Hello.
Hello, Rob. Do you think Ingram are trying to extend Vasquez's stint?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen any activity from them as of yet, so I would assume that that's their plan. I'm hoping that they don't have an issue in the pit lane. That means that we've seen that before this season, of course, with the driver, not being able to pit when they needed to. So
Yes,
I'll keep an eye on that and see whether there's any movement with England.
DNFs since his first pit stop, to be fair, so it's quite possible. We'll have to keep an eye out, as you say. But as we obviously missed a move there, as I think that was Davenport making.
It was just another driver going past Kanga.
Yeah, yet another. Oh, as Powers sets the fastest lap, breaks us into the 1:19 now. Really up in the face here at the front.
Yeah, as he looks to close down teammate Klaas van Snelheid then, and he's really going to have to, isn't he? He's still got 2 stops to make, while Klaas only has 1, and he's still 8 seconds behind. So this is looking good for the Dutchman. What it does, it takes the Drivers' Championship to Brazil and puts it actually really tight.
There's Vasquez now. Yeah, it does. To be honest, it's
If it finished as it stood, Klaas van Snelheid would be 6 points behind Nathaniel Powers, meaning essentially, if one of them were to win in Brazil, that would be enough for the title.
Oh, as Alvarez is getting a little racy there and being passed by Marcus Thunder. But yeah, I really love to see title fights going like right down to the wire, being really close. So I think it's going to be a great finale that I really hope I'm actually able to commentate on this year. Because I missed it last year due to personal circumstance. But is that Ichima? Well, it's not Kinnaman. Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's Milkovic. Sorry, it's Milky Tits.
It is, yes, on the. No, it is. It is.
Milky Tits.
No, I think it is Kinnaman.
It's not.
Oh no, it's sorry. I thought that was for some reason. I cannot see cars. I look like a meteor behind him.
That's where Wagner found himself. Although look at the gap he's found in like 3 corners.
Yeah. Well, Milkovic is on the hard tyres and in a slow car.
Well, slightly slower car.
Yeah, fair play. There's Vasquez now trying to fight his way back through the field after his second pit stop. Has come up to the back of Carson Davenport, and that will be for 11th when he manages to get that done. There's Marcus Thunder now. He's cleared Alvarez, hasn't he? Closing down on Carl Beckenbauer.
Yes. Yes.
Constructive, Lily.
2 more stops to make.
Sorry.
He's got 2 more stops to make, right?
Yeah, they should do.
This is looking quite good for Beckenbauer and Alvarez, to be honest. Oh,
it is,
here
yeah.
we go. Looking for a move on Domenicali here. Round the outside at turn 1. Nothing doing there. Domenicali slams the door on the German.
Yeah, firm move there from Enzo Domenicali to defend 16th place. What has happened to Frank? Wagner's coming back at him. Wow! That was late on the brakes, and he carried some corner speed through there, didn't he? That was really brilliant move then from Elroy Wagner to go back into 16th. But
I wasn't.
Clearly, you went really quiet.
Yes, no, there was an issue with my cat. Obviously, I don't normally bring my cat to race days, but I've done that today for some reason.
But I was just going to say,
anyway.
Franklin, what has kind of gone on there? They sort of like, let's be fair, they've not had the season they wanted, but they kind of turned up expecting to struggle. They scored a point at Silverstone, which I think somewhat came out of the blue and saved them for a good while. They did then drop into Q1, but were comfortably getting out of it, qualifying reasonably well. They scored another couple of points and got themselves out of Q1, and kind of since then they've dropped off the pace again.
Yeah, it's been a strange one because they did definitely have that surge in pace, as you mentioned, but I just think where we've had some teams that have kind of had a late season surge in pace. Most notably, their rivals Lucas. They've been phenomenal in the last 2-3 races. which
Well, Thunder has
we
been.
hoped. Well, Thunder has been.
Davenport needs to actually turn up.
Which is interesting because Davenport he's no slouch, you know, like he's a pretty quick guy. But yeah, I just wonder if maybe Franklin are playing the long game here and prioritising next season, maybe the year after. Whereas we look at the likes of Lucas and like, actually I think it's only Lucas really from the bottom teams that have kind of surged forward, that are kind of looking to secure a higher position this season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that Franklin will absolutely, you know, from the moment that they started this campaign.
Only just a one-stop. It's not exactly a comfortable one-stop.
Well, I don't know.
He's
There
on
is,
lap 37.
yeah,
That's a little close.
yeah. I suppose it is. It's a bit closer than I think many were expecting. But then there's not much point going an awful lot further, is there? Really?
No, true.
But yeah, Kangaroo joins in 20 seconds, so I think that's going to be a painful afternoon. I mean, he's already had a painful afternoon, and I'm fairly sure he's been passed by nearly everyone on the track. But
yeah, Santa Lopez, isn't he? So.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
That's a bit mean.
I was gonna. Car isn't that. Wagner put it 7th on the grid, although he is now 15th. I'm starting to think he might have cut a corner somewhere, to be honest.
Quite possibly. I mean, the only driver on the softs really that's not in the top 5 that I've been impressed by is Thunder, to be honest. The rest of them have found themselves in constant traffic with a lot of issues.
Did you say not on the softs or on the softs?
On the softs.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, Thunder has been driving phenomenally this race. The only driver who seems to actually be in with a shout of making those softs work, although...
Yeah, he has got past Beckenbauer somewhere as well.
Yes, that was a while ago. But,
I totally missed that one.
Has not let him go. I think that that slipstream down the main straight is keeping the German in it for what will be his best finish of the season so far, if it finishes as it is.
Yeah, if he can hold on to 8th place, that is. I think there's still 31 laps to run here, 32 laps to run here. So
I am just cursed myself, Bradley.
Yeah, I think you might have done. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, you know, we are paid to sit here and see how it unfolds. So that said, Alvarez is losing a bit of time. In fact, both Alvarez and Halverson are. Yeah,
he does seem Alvarez has been slipping back from Beckenbauer since. I think you're quite right in that, you know, Beckenbauer is being dragged along by Thunder. He's in the slipstream of the Lucas, whereas Alvarez kind of doesn't really have that at the moment. He's a little bit too far back from Beckenbauer to really be benefiting too much.
Yeah, obviously the effect of the dirty air. We'll throw it down to Rob because he's probably more familiar with it. Rob, what kind of time? What's the word? What kind of gap will the drivers stop feeling the benefit of the tow, but keep feeling the detrimental effects of the dirty air?
You're kind of looking at about 1.5 to 2 seconds on a track like this, possibly a little bit less with the air being thinner, that you can kind of really feel the benefit on the home straight of the tow. But anywhere to kind of 2 to 4 seconds back, you're going to feel a little bit lighter on the steering, a little bit less, a little bit more wash on the front. So yeah, it's a balancing act between kind of getting through that point where you're losing out in the corners until you really start to feel the benefit from the tow balancing that out. Then eventually, as we've seen quite often today, you've got that engine advantage as well. Once you're in the tow, you really can make the move way before you're into turn 1.
Yeah, and obviously where normally you would be able to just switch up the engine for a few laps to make up that little gap. Obviously here with the air so thin, it's quite a risk to actually turn up the power mode, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the cooling is definitely a big concern here. We've seen in the past some issues with cooling for a lot of the teams, a lot of the engines that we've got in Formula Virtual. But also, if you look at engine modes as a percentage, like, you know, a lot of these teams, they say, you know, it'll turn the engine up by 5 to 10%. Well, in air as thin as this, you're not getting as much of that air into the engine. So frankly, 5 to 10% up here could even be maybe, you know, 20-30 horsepower down on what they're expecting to get kind of an atmospheric level at sea level. So yeah, these engines really being put through their paces today, and you've really got to wring their necks to get any kind of performance out of them. which means you kind of get a double-edged sword of cooling being an issue, but then you have to run them harder to make them more powerful, or have the same similar level of power. So it's a vicious cycle, really.
Well, yeah, because obviously, I suppose where obviously there's less air going to the engine, they have to get less fuel going to the engine, or else they're just going to find themselves, you know, burning up fuel that they're not using. Well, not use, basically not burning enough. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make a point here. But
yeah, very much so. The fuel, the fuel levels are another balancing act. It's all. I mean, these guys, they've got the data from previous years. But yeah, no, there's always going to be someone that runs it finer than everybody else. It's quite difficult really to call. So no, it's one of those fascinating things. That just one of those idiosyncrasies that you can get with racing somewhere as unique as Mexico City.
Brilliant, thanks for that, Rob. Rob there, obviously in the pit lane, keeping us all informed and making Bradley and I look slightly less smart than we are. I'm just
considerably
kidding.
less smart.
Yeah, but we love having you, Rob.
Absolutely do. It's wonderful to have that technical insight down in the pit lane. As I've just been looking at a few of the gaps while Rob was explaining all that. Will Hoskins now looks as though he might have I don't know if he's found a solution or what to what we assume was some technical gremlins earlier on, but he has gapped Jean Matson some 7 seconds now. That is that advantage is at. Marcus Thunder slightly pulled away from Carl Beckenbauer as well, who looks as though he's I was just going to say he was starting to come under a bit of pressure from Alvarez, but he looks as though he's just managed to put a halt on that little charge. Well, that's all I've noticed. I didn't go any further down. As we see, that is Klaus van Schnellheid then. Leader here in Mexico at the moment. We are well over the halfway point. He is still some 5 seconds clear of Nathaniel Powers with one less stop to make. So looking really, really good for the young Dutchman as he looks to take his second win in a row, having picked up the victory in Italy. And well, Van Schnellheid will be hoping to do that. He is currently 13 points behind teammate Nathaniel Powers in the Drivers' Championship, and as mentioned earlier, a win here, even if Powers is second, would put the gap down to 6 points and take this to a really close title fight in Brazil. Let's not forget, Enrique Ariza isn't out of it either. He's only 5 points behind Nathaniel Powers, so yeah, it's finishes like this. We're going to have an epic race in Brazil. As I think Rob's just going to jump in for us.
Yeah, I'm hearing we've got a couple of technical difficulties up the commentary box potentially, so I'm going to do my favourite thing of standing by the side of the racetrack and talking absolute nonsense at you.
Brilliant. That's all we ever ask. But I suppose we should also talk. I mean, obviously the driver's title looks as though, as things stand at the moment, it's going to go on to Brazil. One that doesn't, and I know you're probably not going to really want to talk about this, Rob, but it's the constructors. And
yeah, I think I mean we all know what my position is probably going to be on this one, but I think that it's testament to Downton as a team that they've had luck in terms of bad luck potentially, but don't forget Downton have had their troubles of their own through no fault of their own quite a few times this season. So yeah, I think the Constructors' Championship is a well-deserved award for them, and I think that it's just testament that they've been able to do that for so long. So they're really kind of bursting into the top tier of the sport about 4 or 5 years ago now, really. So that longevity, you don't really see that very often with the team. But I think that yeah, if we were going to lose it to anyone, I think that's probably the team on the grid that we would be willing to do so to.
oh.
I know.
I was going to say something. I don't quite know what to say now. I wasn't expecting that.
I think you've got to look at Formula Virtual as we're all a big community in the paddock. We all want to win, beat everybody, but at the end of the day, it's a big family, big happy family. So we've got to make sure that we share the trophies around. I'll have the next one, okay?
Well, I would like one pretty soon.
No.
Apologies for my absence. I had to use the little room.
But
very good.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to count our chickens. There are still some 26 laps of this race to go yet. But yeah, Downton do only need to not be outscored by more than 2 points by Mattershall to wrap the Constructors' title up here. It would be their third, which would put them level with Franklin, who obviously won their 3 titles from 2013 to 2015. It would also be the first successful defence of a Constructors' Championship we've seen since 2015.
Yeah, I think that's something that's quite. It's a huge achievement. Franklin potentially became dominant in an era where it was slightly easier, if you like, to retain that dominance throughout their time at the top. But yeah, Downton have done so in an era where they've had to beat Franklin, they've had to beat ourselves at Mattershall and Porsche, and first to really come onto the scene over the last couple of years as well. I think that if they managed to. But yeah, everybody had to beat AMR, and everybody has successfully beaten AMR. That's the thing. I think if they can achieve anything like the success they've had over the past couple of years next year, then I think that's probably a level of dominance, a level of success that's completely unparalleled. So yeah, no, I've got to hand it to Downton boys here.
It certainly has been a pretty decent run in the last 4 seasons since the start of 2017. But yeah, I think, you know, as you briefly mentioned earlier, we do need to touch on the subject that Mattershall Porsche have had an awful lot of bad luck this season. And okay, that's been mixed in with a couple of questionable strategy calls. But were it not for that, I think they would be considerably further ahead, if not even champions already. Whereas Downton have very much had the flip side. As you mentioned, you know, had a couple of bits of bad luck themselves, but aside from that, have pretty much maximised nearly every result they could have done. Combining that with a car that's taken a significant upswing in performance towards the end of the year. It's really the two ends of the scale, isn't it?
Yeah, like I you know, as I've said, I have my own opinions about our season, and I will never say that the guys back in the factory, both at Le Mans, Mattershall Technology, and Porsche Motorsport in Weissach, I think both sets of guys have done an extraordinary job. Don't forget, this is season 1 of the Porsche in Formula Virtual as well. So I think that I know I'm kind of giving the end of season speech a race early here. I am very aware of that, but no, I'm extremely proud of what we've achieved this year, and I think that it could have been so much more. But I don't think we should be too disappointed, because I know that we'll be back next year, and I know that we'll be back in years to come.
Absolutely.
I also want to point out the most important stat is the number of championships won. I think it has to be overall race victories, and we are still the winningest team in Formula Virtual history.
You certainly are, but we're not far behind
this rate. But
just to touch on Porsche for a second, I think obviously it's no secret that the guys, you know, the Porsche engines have suffered with a bit of unreliability in the opening season, as you would expect from any incoming engine manufacturer that is regularly making races. But I think they've definitely provided quite a good power unit. I mean, you look at, I'm going to mainly use Westwood as the example, but you look at kind of the straight line speed that Westwood car has got, and even, you know, at Japan, Alao Kanga, powered by a Porsche, was able to get his car to the victory, admittedly on a bit of strategy, but you know, it's definitely not a shabby unit by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that, you know, they've got a lot of strength they can build on, and some weaknesses that they can iron out throughout the the off season through the winter.
Absolutely. It's always easier to make a faster unit reliable than it is a reliable unit fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And I think that something I am particularly proud of with as Porsche to Formula Virtual is to support them. I know that everyone in Formula Virtual, every engine manufacturer who has that customer team base, gives those teams support, but I think Porsche Customer Racing and Heinrich Wallinger have really, as actually I can see in front of me, Enrique Ruiz and Nathaniel Powers in the pit lane.
Yeah, just call that one for us a second then, Rob.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty routine so far. Nothing I can see either on screen or in person. Powers out. Ruiz follows a few laps. Few laps.
Few laps. Wow, that was a long stop.
Later on,
endurance racing.
Ruiz has managed to time travel in the pit lane, but the wrong way.
Yeah, no, that's good effort. I mean, I'm going to have to, again, faster on the Porsche engine. Perhaps needs a little bit of fine tuning. We'll get there. But I think it's to support the Porsche Custom Racing business. As you say, Lily, Porsche's first victory didn't come with the works team. It came from a customer team. It came with Alarcanga and Lopez. I think that it's a relatively rare occurrence that you have something probably defines a full customer winning in Formula Virtual nowadays. So I think that, that's and I think as much as anything, that's the strength of Porsche's customers. They weren't going to just partner with anybody. Both Westwood and Lopez, I think Westwood have proved it race after race that on their return to Formula Virtual, they were definitely one of Porsche's perfect customers. And Lopez doing a top job, sometimes going a little bit off-piste in the strategy, but from coming out from our background in endurance racing, as Adrian Simon comes in front of me, which makes me realise I've been speaking for an entire lap now.
And your phrasing is spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, I know how to see. I've just got good of both commentators in 5 laps. Like, what more can I do from this one?
What we actually going to do is Bradley and I are just going to switch off. When do you need you to finish off the race?
I already have
this one all the way. But no, I think that it's just a big happy story, isn't it? I think that we've got things to improve upon. Formula Virtual is going in a wonderful direction. I'm excited to see what happens with the future of First. I'm excited to see what the midfield can do to push on a little bit more, because I think that First have kind of taken over the role that Franklin had, but frankly I think Franklin might want that place back. First is still going to want to be up there, and there are people trying to push forward all the time. We could have 26 cars, if not 30, all ready for the pole position in Australia or in Japan come next year.
I think 30 is going to be pushing it, but
okay.
I think we might have a few, yeah.
We'll 28, we'll let AMR off. But yeah, I'm now going to go back into the pit lane, and I'm going to leave the professionals to finish off this race.
Worries, brilliant. Thank you for that, Rob. I just going to note, obviously we've got a few of the midfield runners into the pits now on their soft tyres. Marcus Thunder, his soft tyre stop worked out pretty nicely once again. He is behind Hunter Ryan, but then a few seconds to Davenport and a few more up to Sergio Alvarez. He got out in front of quite a gaggle, so he keeps finding himself a bit of clear air. Thunder really playing himself into a potentially really strong result here.
Yeah, he's also as soon as he got out of the pits, he has been making a lot of time up. He's obviously, as you say, came out in front of that gaggle, but he pulled away from them rapidly. Obviously now he's gaining the effect of that toe down the main straight from Hunter Ryan, and yeah, he's got a bit of a big ask, because as Vasquez finally got into the pits a bit late. As who's that on the back of someone? That's Alvarez on the back of Halverson. Halverson got past Alvarez.
The pair of them are together again. What a surprise!
Here we go. Yeah. So. Oh, that's Giordano.
Yeah, they're scrapping into turn 1 then. Here we go. This is Halverson and Alvarez side by side, and it's Alvarez who sweeps through into 8th then.
Yeah, fantastic move from the Argentine, and it's once again game on between these two, and Beckenbauer's going to be rubbing his hands with glee here.
I think they'll be sick of the sight of one another by the end of this race.
They have really been going at it hammer and tong for the last 50 odd laps.
Absolutely. As I'm just looking, so I think we are pretty much at a point now where everyone has one stop remaining, aren't we?
Yes, we are, except for the hard type runners, but
yeah, but they're nowhere anyway. As Kinnaman pits again from
just for fun.
I think that's stop number 5.
Maybe. Oh, he did have to change that front wing, didn't he?
We did, didn't he?
Coming up to Ryan, stadium section.
Wow, look how much he closes on the braking, how much more grip he's got on those fresh off tyres.
So much more confidence.
Yeah.
Mind you, we're going to see the medium tide runners in fairly soon, aren't we?
We probably will actually, yeah.
Yeah, the next 3 to 5 laps, I think.
So I'll tell you what, if Powers, Ruiz and Simon are going to do it anyway, that is going to be their opportunity, isn't it? But
yeah.
Fastest going to be.
Bit of contact there.
Yeah, Ryan squeezes Marcus Thunder then, and Thunder has to back out of that one. He's now looking to the outside, but Ryan drifts back across and determined not to give up that 11th position.
He really wants it. He really wants it, Bradley.
Well,
He
you know, I
really
suppose
wants that 11th.
if one car drops out in front of him, it's a point. And
I wonder though, based on Thunder's pace, where could he be if they were stuck on the medium tyres?
oh, you do have to ask that question, don't you? I mean, he's been pretty much a match for, I'd say probably a solid 6th between Hoskins and Matson.
Yeah, I would say
That
that's
car has
absolutely
been
right.
rapid.
He's just been amazing.
I mean, you've only got to look at Davenport. Davenport started down in what, 17th position? He's running 10th.
Yeah, Giordano started down in 19th. He's up in 13th. Beckerbauer started 15th. He's 7th. I mean, we've had not really that much attrition.
Klaas started
Wagner, meanwhile-
2nd, but he's some 20 seconds clear of his teammate.
Yeah. Wagner, I don't know what the opposite would be for the driver of the day, but he's definitely won it.
It's quite ridiculous that Wagner's ended up even behind
He's
his
just-
teammate.
He's lost 12 positions. I understand he's just made a pit stop, but he's lost 12 places. Oh, here we go then. Klaas Van Schneider in the pits. This is going to be really tight actually as to who gets out in front of the other.
Yeah, it's
Oh, Powers has got traffic. Oh, but he might have the toe on the main straight.
yeah, this is going to be really tight then between the two Downton drivers. Klaas Van Schnauer, I mean, Powers is going to have to pit again, so I don't
There
think
he
it's going
is.
to make an awful lot of difference, but he does retake the lead then. Klaas Van Schnauer will feed out. Is he going to get Ruiz? Is he going to get that little bit of clear air behind his teammate? I think he is quite comfortably. Klaas Van Schnauer then, this is looking absolutely beautiful for him.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to look past him for the victory now. Obviously, you know, touch wood, barring any exceptional circumstances.
Don't
I
say
think
that.
it would be foolish to bet against him at the moment.
It certainly would, as yeah, what's the gap? 3 seconds, but as we say, Powers has to pit again, as do Ruiz and Simon, as Hoskins and Matson come in for their second and final stops from 5th and 6th respectively. To be fair, I think they're pretty much going to rejoin.
Strange that, yeah, Beckenbauer, Alvarez and Halverson have all tried, like, extended their stints.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
Giordano as well.
Mind you,
And
Beckenbauer went
Davenport.
long the first time round, because he was running up in 5th.
Yes, that's true.
But yeah, Davenport as well.
Where it will shake out. I can't imagine Beckenbauer will hold position from this stop in front of Thunder initially. Oh, it's Ryan's going up the inside then of no, that's Veronas going up the inside of Domenicali. It's Veronas who started what, like the
20th?
11th row. Oh, 20th.
Yeah, I think he was
Domenicali
20th.
started
Oh, he's 22nd, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Has found his way up into 14th place. No points, as it stands for the Albanian?
Lithuanian.
Lithuanian.
Yeah.
That's the same
But
thing.
again, Zviranas on the medium tyres, as is Domenicali, who started 1 position behind him and is currently 1 position behind him.
Mediums are definitely the tyre of choice this afternoon, I think. Although that said, yeah, here we go. See a wave of pit stops now. I wonder what kind of traffic this is gonna bring them out in. Then, oh, they're going in nose to tail. Here we go then. North Star versus Phoenix. Down to you, Rob.
Hello. Yes. I missed the pit stop there entirely because I tripped over my own microphone cable. Yeah. So Alvarez out is ahead of Halverson, Davenport, Domenicali, Giordano. Back to you in the commentary box.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty slow stop there for the North Star boys there. Halverson losing a couple of seconds to Alvarez. He's got all that hard work to do again. Just down to Rob and then just
It's okay.
It's Hunter Ryan on the mediums. Yeah, so Hunter Ryan's just he's not in.
Desmo is looking at being lapped by Hunter Ryan. Do you believe that's how slow that car is?
Yes.
So that's just so sad.
What's ridiculous is that that car is that slow, and he still managed to beat Lewis Ellington into Q2.
Oh!
Oh, we've got carnage. That is a Lopez parked at the side of the track, and that is class
Ruiz!
Oh, it's contact.
Ruiz
That's Ruiz. Enrique Ruiz then has run into the parked Lopez. The two Porsche cars have come together. The Porsche powered cars have come together, sorry, and Enrique Ruiz has lost his front wing from third here. The two Downtons nearly got caught up but just avoided it. Ruiz though will have to pit.
Mind you, this might not be all bad. He'll have a longer stop as Adrian Simon makes the most of that opportunity. Oh, that's Domenicali, is that? I don't know.
Yeah, Domenicali there in the Franklin trying to block both the Mattershore Porsche cars. But yeah, Rob, what is a stint length here? Well, Ruiz should just about be able to make this to the end, surely.
Yeah, I think he will do. I don't think it'll cost him majorly beyond the pit stop, but yeah, he looks like he's lost a good, 4 or 5, well, maybe 7 seconds, but actually, I think it's that position that he's lost there to Adrian Simon that's going to be the crucial one. If he gets the undercut and can get back out ahead, he might be able to salvage a podium. Otherwise, I'm not fancying his chances against his teammate here. Ruined a little bit more bad luck there.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a slightly longer stop, but obviously he's going to have these fresher tyres on, so he is going to be able to pull some of this pace back. It's going to depend if he's going to come out in traffic, but well, looking at that view, he's going to have an absolutely beautiful bit of clear air.
Oh. Well, besides Hoskins.
Oh, but Hoskins could be a real sticker then, because Hoskins is not going to pit again.
Oh!
Sorry,
Kinnaman out!
Oh.
I didn't even see that.
No, so we missed that one then on the cameras. Timo Kinnaman just didn't even slow at all and has hit Elroy Wagner, whose dismal day comes to a dismal end.
Yeah, obviously he just kind of drove straight at the stricken Lopez there. That was not good. But then his wheel was already missing, so somebody else had already done that as well.
Yes, well, I mean, to be fair, Wagner did look like he got a few whacks there. I think Klaas hit him, but very gently, and was lucky to get away with it. And I'm sure there was contact between Powers and Wagner as well. But yeah,
But Desmond's just been lapped by 16th place.
Has he actually? That's dismal.
Yeah. That's. I know that we said that they were only here to gather data for Lamborghini and for themselves, but man alive, it's a wonder they even made Q2 if that's their genuine pace.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, Ledesma, the fact that he managed to get through to Q2 was stunning. What does it say about Lewis Ellington?
Yeah, to be fair.
You know, that Arrow is easily a quicker car. It's been mixing it, you know, with the Chimas, with the Franklins on occasions. And, yeah, I just... It's
beggars belief.
Quite unbelievable that
Yeah.
Ellington has now managed to be out-qualified 2 races in a row.
Oh, Halverson and Alvarez have swapped places again.
Well, there's a surprise.
Yeah. They are really getting involved.
I don't think they've been separated by more than 2 seconds this entire race.
I think you might be
I'm
right.
fairly sure they've pitted every time together.
I think they've got magnets on each other's cars, so they're just constantly
Oh, there goes Alvarez. Alvarez has gone through then on the Dane up into 10th place to take that final points position.
Yeah. And now we ride on board with Enrique Ruiz, who is looking to very rapidly make his way past Will Hoskins. He's so much later on the brakes, though.
Yeah, he's got so much more pace, hasn't he? But he is some 32 seconds behind Adrian Simon. So he's going to have to get a shift on here, because Simon's not going to be long before Simon's in the pits.
No, it's I can't remember what lap we're expecting now.
Was it about 15 laps? 15, 16 laps they're doing for a stint?
I think it was about 15, maybe 17 laps at the most. As sure enough, Simon goes around the outside at turn 1. Oh, but Hoskins fights him back. Yeah, brilliant defence there from Will Hoskins then. Allowed Ruiz the outside line, but it handed him the outside for the second corner. And yeah, Hoskins defends that one. Ruiz going to come at him again, and there's slight contact there between the pair of them, but Ruiz still can't get the move done. Yeah, 2 former Franklin boys going toe-to-toe there into turns 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's personal for Hoskins, isn't it? It is a little bit. I don't think the drivers hold grudges so much, but I feel like when you're robbed of a championship that's rightfully yours, as Halverson once again demotes Alvarez outside of the point scoring positions, it's a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, almost certainly. As well, we'll keep an eye and see whether Ruiz, he is very, very close now to the back of Will Hoskins, and I mean, you've got to imagine he's going to get this done any lap. But it's absolutely cost him. I don't think he's going to get back up to Simon. He's some 33 seconds behind, and there's no way he's going to close 12, 13 seconds in a handful of laps.
Oh no, definitely not.
That's asking too much, even of Ruiz.
Here it goes then. He's gone for the inside line this time down to turn 1.
Yeah, that's done and dusted before the corner.
Yeah, nice and textbook. Yeah. Keeps it to the inside to cover off the counter attack from Will Hoskins and takes the place.
Nothing Hoskins could do about that one then.
I tell you, I've spotted something that may be a saving grace for Marcus Thunder at the moment. Obviously, he's going to come out in roughly 12th place, but A, he's got his teammate in front of him who shouldn't give him too much bother, and B, House and Alvarez battling as hard as they are could actually allow him a bit of an easier way back into the like some better point scoring positions.
That's true. If they battle any longer and cause themselves more time, Thunder might come out ahead of them.
Yeah, to be fair, he's got I think a couple of laps, and they really are scrapping away for some reason.
They certainly are.
But yeah, oh, that's Giordano going past Allard Kanga in the background there, I think.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the lead gap actually at the moment between Powers and Klaas van Snelheid, and I think they're encountering a bit of traffic between the pair of them because it keeps fluctuating. It went from 4.5 down to 3, and now it's up to 5.5.
Yeah, you can see Powers here is catching up to the back of, I assume that is Addison.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, it is.
Which means Klaas van Snelheid will be in that kind of Giordano Kanga squabble.
Yeah, definitely. So it's interesting then, obviously, with the, as Rob was talking about earlier, the effect of the dirty air, how that's also now affecting the performance of the front runners now they're finding themselves in traffic.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the dirty air as much as it is just back markers not really getting out the way.
Yeah, there's that as well.
Which I think we've seen at nearly every race ever in the history of this series.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we do it slightly different in Formula Virtual. The lapped cars, while it's, the smart move and the right thing to do to get out of the way, as we see that Klaas has cleanly made his way past Puccio Giordano.
Yeah, got a bit of clear air now.
Yeah, he has, so you can really drop the hammer and goes. But
we've got a yellow flag.
That's where the leaders are.
In the second sector it is indeed where Nathaniel Powers is then, but he's not losing time on the timing screen,
no,
so I think
that was anger. No, it's not. Who's?
I don't know, but there's definitely there's cars in the air. That is Powers then. Nathaniel Powers has been caught up in that. As that's Klaas van Snelheid. I think he's just run into him and lost his front wing. Klaas van Snelheid, we've got cars absolutely piling up. That's Carl Beckenbauer. Yeah, that's Beckenbauer, whose Porsche engine is gone then. Nick Addison is parked in the back of the Westwood at the moment. We've got cars all over the track as they try and get through that. But that is indeed, there we see it on screen, it's Klaas van Snelheid without a front wing. The Dutchman, who was absolutely nailed on to win this race, you had to believe, is now going to have to make a third pit stop. Powers is going to pit again. This hands the advantage to Nathaniel Powers. This almost hands the championship to Nathaniel Powers.
Yeah, this is a massive blow then for Nathaniel Powers. As Davenport has to pit as well, and they're still piling up.
That's Hoskins. Hoskins has been caught up.
Gets held up.
That's
kind of funny.
Nick Addison. Is that Nick Addison mounting Carl Beckenbauer? As Alvarez pits, Davenport pits, Zylander pits. They're all in. They've all picked up damage.
Oh dearie me, that is not.
Klaas van Snelheid then makes his way back out of the pit lane. Where is he going to be in relation to Enrique Ruiz? That's I think he might just about have that one. I think Ruiz is just going to be slightly too far back. Yeah, Ruiz is at full power down the start-finish straight. And in fact, that's going to be really close. I think Ruiz might just about have this. They're going to absolutely wheel-to-wheel into turn 1, but Ruiz has got the position.
Yes, he has. Yeah, of course. So that momentum, he had down start, finish straight. And surely with those softer tyres, although Klaas did stick with him earlier, as Madsen pits as well.
Yeah, Madsen's in.
Oh wait, that's no, Madsen.
No, it's not. Madsen was on the mediums.
So Madsen's pitted.
So, yeah, that's
a stop then for the Ingram boys.
I'll tell you what. Let's put Marcus Thunder 6th. He's got to pit again, but Madsen's stop is going to be longer.
Well, yeah, and obviously Thunder is.
He's 22 seconds clear of Halverson now as well. But this is really shaking up the lower points, well, the top points positions as well.
Yeah, this is really giving a bit of a shake up. Oh my god.
Carl Beckenbauer, look what carnage you've caused.
So yeah, Carl Beckenbauer, that Porsche engine in the back, finally let go after 62, 63 laps. And there was just, it looked like he'd just seized up the rear axle because those wheels just would not turn. Down to you, Rob, if you've got any information on the DNF.
Yeah, his engine blew up.
Thanks for that, useful as always. As Klaas van
It
Snelheid.
looks like it was Nick.
Sorry, I'm going to cut across you. Klaas van Snelheid breezes past Enrique Ruiz then.
Hoskins has pitted.
On medium tyres.
Hoskins has had to pit. Hoskins has no front wing. Thunder's up in fifth.
Yeah, and Hoskins is going to have a longer stop. This is... What? This is unbelievable. That's an Ingram without a front wing as well, isn't it? No, never mind. Oh. So Will Hoskins then, where is he going to rejoin? As Powers then makes his final scheduled pit stop. As all of this drama goes around him, Nathaniel Powers has just picked up the pieces.
Oh, Seymour's going to have to pit again, mind you.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Rob, back to you.
Yeah, it looked like Beckenbauer had a problem that was incrementally getting a little bit worse throughout. He'd been driving around it for a long time, and unfortunately, the power plant cried enough, said, "Sod this, I'm going home." And yeah, he's not finished the race, unfortunately. But absolute carnage. I think some of the driving standards there should really be called into question for quite a lot of the guys that just saw the accident and decided the best course of action was to plough on. But we've got Marcus Thunder coming in, the Lucas boy is ready for him. This is a really crucial pit stop, obviously. I mean, this must be really nerve-wracking, not only for Thunder, but for the guys in the Lucas pit lane. This is big gravy for them.
Absolutely.
Looks like he's going to come out in 7th. The pit stop looks all right to me. Nothing noticeable that's gone wrong. So we'll see where he comes out and hand over to you.
Yeah, he's going to rejoin in 7th, if not 6th position, which will become 5th because Vasquez has to pit again. And indeed he does get out ahead of Johan Halverson. Marcus Thunder, barring anything disastrous happening in the final 7 laps, is going to be 6th at worst here in Mexico in an utterly phenomenal result for Lucas.
Yeah, it's been quite incredible, and obviously it's no secret that they've been heavily developing their car through the late season, and it's finally starting to pay off for them.
Absolutely, as Adrian Simon then makes his pit stop, and he is going to rejoin in 2nd place, then a position he's inherited as a few people in front of him, Klaas van Snelheid and Enrique Ruiz, have fallen off the road. But I tell you what, it's firstly, how beautifully is this fallen for Nathaniel Powers as he now takes a gigantic stride toward a 4th world title.
Yeah, obviously it's a big shake-up in the standings, because obviously prior to that incident, Klaas looked like he had this race, had it in his pocket kind of thing, but now it's thrown everything back up, and we are indeed looking at going to the final round.
With Klaas van Snelheid winning this from Nathaniel Powers, as was the case about 5 laps ago, the gap would have been 6 points between them. Enrique Ruiz was right there as well, despite only being down in 4th after his incident earlier on. And we were set for a mammoth 3-way scrap. As it stands, well, Klaas van Snelheid, it was crucial for him to get past Ruiz, because if he finished 4th and Powers won the race, Klaas van Snelheid would be out of the championship.
Yeah, obviously that move on Ruiz was crucial as he gets past some lap traffic there to actually keep himself in contention for the title.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some quick maths, so forgive me if this is wrong. If it finishes as it stands, Klaas van Snelheid will be 23 points behind his teammate. Ruiz will be 18. So it's a mammoth task for either of them. But Ruiz, I think, has got his sights on knocking Klaas totally out of the championship. I thought he had a bit of a run there actually, but it doesn't seem like he's quite got the match in the Porsche power engine for the Downton.
But he's definitely looking. He knows he can eliminate some competition. Vasquez pits, yep, that's a scheduled stop. I don't know why I was about to get excited. But,
yeah, as expected then the Colombian dives in and Marcus Thunder, unbelievably, will go back up into 5th position. As Halverson, what tyres is Halverson on?
A long time. Mediums.
So he should be good to the end then.
Yeah, so Vasquez has lost the place then to Halverson, so he's going to have to get that back, but I can't imagine that'd be too difficult. It looks like he's about to do it right now. No, he's had to back out.
Yeah, he's only a couple of tenths, well, a second or two back, but yeah, he's got some fresh soft tyres, so I'd imagine Vasquez will make that one fairly swiftly.
Yeah, with obviously those fresher soft tyres compared to these slightly older mediums. Hoskins relegates Hunter Ryan and moves himself up into P9. You know, making some progress as Kangra and Alvarez are strapping away for 13th place.
Yes, I think, to be honest, at the start of the race we kind of expected this sort of result for Hoskins, but you know, given the car looked so slow, but he seemed to have it sorted out, and it's just kind of fallen apart again, hasn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just
I'm not entirely sure what happened though with Hoskins. Obviously, we saw he got caught up in that incident, but he didn't pit on the same lap that everyone else did. He pitted a lap later, so I don't know if there was a separate incident that Hoskins lost his front wing in.
Quite possibly. Obviously, we didn't see anything on the cameras, but yeah, obviously, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise if he's been struggling with issues throughout the race as well. Also, we got Vasquez and Halverson getting a little cozy with each other.
Yeah, they certainly are. As Vasquez looked to try and make the move, and Halverson just cut across in front of him. He's absolutely not going to have that. I mean, there is kind of a battle between these two.
Well, there's Hoskins past Matson. Hoskins moves up. He's at 8th now. He's on a bit of a roll here.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's got 6 seconds to the Halverson-Vasquez battle, so depending on how much time they waste scrapping with one another, Hoskins might fancy another couple of positions here.
He'd have to be 2 seconds a lap faster just to catch them.
Well, you never know. Yes, it's unreasonable, but no. Yes, it's unlikely. Is what I meant, but
it's unreasonable.
Yeah, Ruiz not letting Klaas van Snelheid get away, is he? But then let's not forget, Van Snelheid is on the medium tyres.
Yeah, and he's as Ruiz's tyres start to die out a little bit, Klaas is only going to pull away. Fortunately, I think Ruiz might have just missed the boat on this one.
Yeah, although he's determined, isn't he? He wants this to just be between. I mean, well, he needs the points because, obviously, as we mentioned, as it stands, he would be 18 down on Powers heading to Brazil, meaning he needs to be in the top 2 and hope that Powers doesn't finish, essentially. But yeah, it's I can't believe how ridiculously this has swung. It was looking like such a great setup for Brazil, and now we're almost done and dusted.
Yeah, it's now looking kind of boring for Brazil.
Yeah, sort of damp squib.
That's not true. It's still going to be exciting, but in terms of the championship, Powers, there's no arguing the toss that he's got such an enormous advantage going to the final round.
Well, yeah, with an 18-point advantage, he only needs 7, which obviously is impossible to score. So the lowest, I mean, he can afford to finish 6th in Brazil, and if it finishes, there's still 2 laps to go. I know what's happened before.
Yeah, Powers retires.
I'm just thinking back to Spain, where he retired from 2nd on the final lap. But yeah, obviously, if it finishes as it is, then he could afford to finish as low as 6th in Brazil and still claim the title. And frankly, on pace, they don't look like finishing out of the top 4.
No, well, I mean, even Hoskins, who is, you know, in a car that's usually 5th or 6th place material. After his pit stop and his difficulties earlier, he still managed to work his way back up to 8th. So even if Powers does encounter some trouble as he starts the final lap of this V-Prix here, I would be surprised if he can't work his way back up to the top 6.
Yeah, they are sort of so far ahead of the midfield, aren't they? These, at least the top 2 teams, and yeah, first to an extent as well. That I think it's almost an impossible bet to go anywhere else, isn't it, other than Nathaniel Powers now for the title. But as you say, we are on to the final lap here in Mexico. He's got a 10-second lead to Adrian Simon. He won't be counting his chickens yet, as I mentioned earlier. He did retire on the final lap in Spain from 2nd place a number of races ago, so he'll be willing that car to make it to the line.
Just kind of rocking back and forth like Jeremy Clarkson does to get more power.
Absolutely, but I think we also need to mention we are on the verge of a small piece of history. Downton are a lap away from equaling Franklin's record of 3 constructors' titles.
Yeah, we're not even a lap, we're 1 sector away.
Yeah, there's Nathaniel Powers then into the stadium section for the final time. It didn't look brilliant earlier on, but it has absolutely fallen into his lap. Nathaniel Powers, as he does so often, has sat there and waited and picked up the pieces. He takes a gigantic step towards his 4th World Championship with a win here in Mexico. Adrian Simon is going to take a comfortable, if inherited, 2nd place, but we need to wait for Klaas van Snelheid, because when the Dutchman crosses the line, as he will do any moment, into the Peraltada for the final time, Klaas van Snelheid is going to take 3rd place with Ruiz behind him in 4th, and Downton are 3-time constructor champions of Formula Virtual. They equal the record set by Franklin in 2015. They're the first team to defend a title since 2015, and that is some achievement in a season that many expected Porsche Mattershore to absolutely dominate. Marcus Thunder now then is going to be the next one that we wait for, and this, I mean, once again I think Thunder has got to be the story of the day. Yes, this has come about thanks to some bad luck for those in front of him, but 5th place for Thunder and for Lucas is absolutely phenomenal result. It's James Vasquez then across the line in 6th. Halverson will hold on to 7th place ahead of Will Hoskins, although Hoskins got very close, as did Matson. Hunter Ryan will round out the points finishers then, but it's Nathaniel Powers and Downton then. Downton take their 3rd constructors title. Powers on his way to a 4th. So there we have it then, an incident for Klaas van Snelheid takes him out of contention, and it's Nathaniel Powers who picks up the win here in Mexico. Adrian Simon is 2nd, just ahead of Klaas, who completes the podium, just half a second ahead of Enrique Ruiz. Driver of the day though has to go to Marcus Thunder, a phenomenal 5th place there, as we see the retirements, most notable of which Felix Perez after that early mistake in the race then. But this result is huge in the Drivers' Championship. It puts Nathaniel Powers in a very, very strong position to clinch his 4th Drivers' World title next time out in Brazil. Enrique Ruiz is 18 points behind. Klaas van Snelheid is 23. They're going to need Powers to have issues in Brazil if either of them has a chance of the title. Marcus Thunder there gaining significant ground with that 5th place finish. And just an absolutely phenomenal drive then from the British man. and that has aided Lucas in the Constructors as well. But at the top, it's Downton, and they are confirmed. They're in gold, the Constructors champions for the third time, and the first team to successfully defend their title since Franklin in 2015. There have been no changes in the Constructors Championship, but the top three are all now locked into position. But that's all from our race here today in Mexico City. So from me, Lily and Rob, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time for the season finale from Sao Paulo, Brazil.